In we go, day one, Friday.
Batman went that way.
This is dangerous. And mystery bags. Got my Pecos Pete's soda and I am ready to con. Somebody was asking me, like, what is your house decorated in? What is the style? And I'm like, convention art. I mean,
Like the mashup?
yes, I absolutely love it. That's amazing.
A few spells like Magic Missile and Vanish Smite require no attack roll and allow no saving throw in order for damage to be dealt. One particularly grisly spell of this kind, Power Word Kill, will instantly kill a target if the spell's target is below what HP? This has happened to me before.
Yes, it has. You died.
And I died.
Happened to me too, but I lived.
That's true.
Was that when we rolled super good?
Yeah.
Wild Beyond Witchlight is a fun, role-play-centric module following the journey through the Feywild and a magical carnival hosted by two Shadar Kai. What are their names?
Oh my goodness, it is so soft. We are calling it a day for day one, and we are heading home for some rest, and we will be back tomorrow. All right, we're starting day two Saturday. Let's go. I need tea, so this is our first stop of the day. Really enjoyed it though. It was fantastic.
Yesterday.
I got the book yesterday, and I had to get the audiobook too, so I had to go on the quest. So thank you so much. You have a good day. Such a cute idea. Different Pokemon as plushes.
Yes,
I love it so much. Oh my gosh. It's Batman riding Toothless. That's amazing. Oh, look at Appa. He's so cute and fluffy. Oh, and his little footsies. He has toe beans. Oh, he's squishy. Oh my gosh, Reptar.
Get free hugs.
Lunch for day two. Got some chicken strips from the concession stand and popcorn as the best side. All right, we are heading in to see Rose McIver's panel now. Yay!
Let's give a big round of applause. Rose McIver, everybody. There she is. Awesome. When did you first realize that this is what I want to do?
been very, very lucky. There's definitely been some quiet spells when I moved out to the States and, you know, taking a million other jobs and figuring it out. But I mean, I have a lot of friends who are incredibly talented, who haven't had the same opportunities, and so I really think it's a lot of perseverance. Creating your own work, I really recommend now, because you don't have to sit and wait for the phone to ring the same way.
And so is there something that you kind of keep in mind that keeps you on that right path, you know, even when things get tough?
I mean, my family are very, very important to me. There's nothing worse than auditioning for a horror film where you don't know the lines properly. It's the hardest audition you'll ever do. It's so atmospheric, and it really has to be about how you feel in the room. It's a particularly awkward audition to do when you don't have your lines learned. So I had a really, really shocking horror audition when it's horrifying to me to think that tape is out there somewhere.
I don't know, maybe. We have more crocheters here than aspiring actors. So.
Yeah, exactly. I know my audience. Like, I found my people when I come to conventions and crochet.
All right, now we're gonna go see Alyssa Milano.
Big Texas round of applause. You know her, you love her, Alyssa Milano!
Hello. I feel very tall in this chair.
I love walking around, and I was just saying, seeing costumes, seeing all this stuff.
Yes.
What have you been able to, what have you seen that's like?
Well, Elvis is here.
Oh, where's Elvis?
There he is.
Oh.
Elvis has not left the building.
Yeah, it's so funny. Like when I was little, you know, kids used to say, I want to be on TV when I grow up. My kids are like, I want to be a YouTuber. My advice is always just make sure that that's not your only fulfillment. Because if that is your only fulfillment, then when you're not getting work and you're not being hired, then you feel, you know, less than complete. And so I've tried in my life, and much credit to my parents who instilled this at a very young age, but to find many things that fill my heart, fill my bucket.
And we'd love to ask people on the show their Hail Mary moment, which is that moment in your life or career you just had to go for it and it worked out for you. What do you suppose that was for you?
Oh, that show we're not supposed to talk about?
Well, everything but the name. You know?
Yeah, that's got like the big book.
Right.
Which, by the way, I just did a con with Julian, and he told me that the original concept, when he first met on the show, he was supposed to be the devil. But standards and practices wouldn't allow the writers to call him that, so that's where the source of all evil came from. And my agency at the time tried to tell me not to do it. Yeah. They said, oh, I don't know, you're gonna get typecast as being someone who only works for Aaron Spelling. I'm like, oh, that would be a shame. I'm like, you mean the guy that's got his finger on the pulse of pop culture? Oh, shame, we don't want that. But I just had this gut feeling, this just feeling of like, that show's a hit. And I showed up to work on Thursday, and the rest is history.
It's time for a break with some nachos. Time to go see Mira Sorvino.
My name is Paul Southland. I'm here to moderate this panel. And this panel just got even cooler. Raps of Dancing with the Stars fans here. You're in for a special treat. But you know her, you love her. Big round of applause for Oscar winner Mira Sorvino. And Dancing with the Stars. How about that?
For me, it was just a leap of faith and courage to be like, I love dancing, so I'd like to try this.
I mean, I've been dancing all my life, since I was 7 years old, back in Moscow, Russia, and if you do something, you gotta stick with it. you know, and they pushed me and they took me to all these dance competitions, and you know, I'm so blessed and grateful that I'm gonna, you know, dance with the stars as a professional dancer. Tip number 1 on Dance with the Stars: don't dance alone.
We had danced it several times on Monday. We danced it for Access Hollywood, and we were feeling really confident, but we just got together at night just to go over a few little moments in it. And then Glove's like, okay, we're good. Good night, I'll see you tomorrow. And I went back to the room and was like, I just want to practice that one move a little bit more. And I started doing it, and I wiped out. My foot just slipped on the floor, wiped out, and I landed hard on my wrist, and I went to an MRI, and it's slightly fractured. But it's not going to stop me. I am not stopping dancing. No way. When I was 10, I was in a production of HMS Pinafore, and this was one of my dad's other first acting lessons to me. I had this thing where I was supposed to kiss this boy, and I was like, Dad, how am I supposed to kiss him? And on the cheek, and he was like, well, Vera, think about who is the most handsome, wonderful, attractive celebrity. And you know, being that this was the 70s, I was thinking, and I was like, Elvis. And so he said, all right, well, you can imagine that Elvis Presley is standing right there on that stage. And you have the opportunity to run up to him and give him a kiss on the cheek. And I was like elated inside. I was so happy. And then the time came, I run up the stage, I give him the kiss, I've got the live audience there, and I had this sort of sense of like heightened reality, sort of like downhill skiing. And I was so thrilled, and that was one of the reasons I really wanted to become an actor, because that feeling was so amazing. Well, I've been working against human trafficking since 2004, first with Amnesty International. Thank you. As a Stop Violence Against Women spokesperson, and then in 2009 I joined the United Nations Office on Drugs and Crime as their Goodwill Ambassador, and only 0.6% of them currently are either rescued or exit themselves. So 99.4% of human trafficking victims stay in bondage, which is just intolerable. And so I'm just trying all the time, like it's in all of my spare time, I'm working on human trafficking.
We're going in to see Paul Bettany.
Give a big Texas-sized welcome to Mr. Paul Bettany! This allows us to kind of get into not talking about your roles, but your process of these roles.
I have a process?
You have a process? Well, maybe you don't. Maybe, you know.
Yes. When I went on the set of the thing that we can't talk about.
Right, yes. The thing that's far, far away.
And
yeah.
I had chills, and then chills, and like it was like my first day on the set ever again.
Is there somebody that kind of in your life has encouraged you every step of the way?
No. Some of the best advice I ever got was give up, and I mean it. It's very rare to be able to make a living doing this, and to have somebody say, unless you have to do it, give up.
Yeah.
And then you go, I have to do it.
Yeah. So are you into Halloween and spooky season?
Oh, no, I'm not.
Yeah.
They go, what are you going dressed as? And I go, myself.
Yeah.
Because it's a day off for me.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not working today.
Yeah.
Amazing. She was a pandemic puppy, and she grew up in Vermont, where she thought she was the only dog in the world. And then we went back to Brooklyn, and she was like, the fuck is going on? They're everywhere! Ah! And she's terrified of all other dogs. There was a 12-year-old blind, 3-legged chihuahua that lived next door to us. And my dog is just terrified.
Do you have a useless talent or skill?
I don't know that oh, wait.
Or like, maybe one of Peter Pan's Lost Boys or something that would come in handy.
Yeah, that's good.
This was great fun. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
I've had worse. What a scratch.
Well, I'd say day 2 was a success. We finished doing the rest of the exhibition floor and looking at all the booths and all the vendors, which were all amazing. And we saw 4 panels, so it was a very busy day, but a very successful and fun day. And tomorrow we'll be back for the last day and a few more panels. All right, here we go for day 3. Since I am in Who Get Up today, we had to come back in and get the mystery Doctor Who box. It's very large. It's a slow morning today, so we had a little bit of time before our first panel we're gonna do. Thought we'd get a little something to drink, so got from this lovely food truck out here, Tom's Traveling Coffee Truck, a spiced chai, and it is delicious.
We are here to discuss your next great read, and apparently they have written your next great read.
We are Unearthly Comics. Scott Pinkford, Nick Edwards. I'm Stephen Early. I wrote the Eternals of Shallow Star trilogy.
I'm C.S. Cooper. I'm all the way from Australia. I wrote this first. It's called Firefly of the Ranager. It's a sci-fi fantasy adventure set in its own universe. I also wrote the Axum Saga. Think Aussie Avengers.
I am Dr. Travis Langley, Distinguished Professor of Psychology at Henderson State University, best known as author of the book Batman and Psychology, A Dark and Stormy Night, the best book on Batman ever written by me, Doctor Who Psychology, the regenerated 2nd edition.
This is called Gator Man Kills. The quick pitch is Texas Chainsaw Massacre meets Con Air. This is called Stilettos. This is issue 1 of our new series. The quick pitch of this one is Promising Young Woman meets The Most Dangerous Game.
This one took 13 years, the second one took 8 months, and the third one took 8 months.
Stephen, does it ever bother you to spend 13 years writing something that somebody reads overnight?
No, because they're going to read it again and again and again. It's that good.
I remember very clearly, in 5th grade, I had a substitute teacher who read to us the Chinese creation myth. Now, I'd been playing Legend of Zelda Ocarina of Time, I'd been playing Mega Man X, greatest game ever, don't argue with me on that, yes, yes, and so just listening to that creation myth story and all the stuff I had going on in my head from all these games, I just had this idea for, I'm going to write a book. And it is full of invented languages, mythologies, but I've also included real-life technologies because I've got a very strong science and engineering background. Some of the literary agents would say, sorry, we're not qualified to represent you. Which is, what the hell does that mean? You might as well be a plumber and say, sorry, I'm not qualified to operate a wrench. I said, you know what, I'm just going to do this myself. I'm going to publish myself, I'm going to hire an editor. I just bought a podcast microphone and recorded it myself on Audacity, edited it all myself. A scorpion witch has joined forces with an immortal flesh eater, and they've raised an army of biomechanical demons. Their goal? Harvest the souls of mankind and use that spiritual energy to recreate the universe as they see fit. Who stands in their way? Well, like RDJ said, let's do a head count here. We've got a blonde pig-tailed bookworm who fights like Hermione Granger had a baby with Darth Maul, and her best friend, an albino T-1000 on demonic steroids. We've got a zombie boy from Australia with a lump of magic metal where his heart used to be, and the battle-scarred Doc Ock who put it there. And we've got a magic-wielding Wing Chun master and his girlfriend, a happy-go-lucky gymnast who, with a deck of magic cards, can literally control the frickin' weather. Do the monsters stand a chance?
I write non-fiction about fiction. The first line of my query letter was, Adam West once asked me if I thought Batman was crazy. And this book is my answer. I'd had years of completely failing to get representation for something else. It's also a matter of the timing. It wasn't just that, oh, this sounds right. It's like, there's a movie coming out next year. We can't sit on this. You guys had a Kickstarter. Let's leave with that. How did you make the Kickstarter work?
It was a matter of being super real, talking to family and friends, really getting the buy-in from your circle, and networking. We made a bunch of promotional postcards that I drove around and Scott drove around to different comic book stores and just be like, hey, can we Leave some postcards here, you can buy the register.
Writing is the best thing in the world, you know, and people are like, why do you do it if you don't do it for money? I do it for enjoyment and pleasure, you know? I tell you, when somebody comes back the next day after they started the book the first day of the con and says, I'm already on chapter 22. That's why I write right there, you know?
Has anybody been to the Disney Your Way panel before?
We're just gonna have whoever wants to come up, sing your song. Just do whatever you like, whatever you can sing, you can dance, you can lip sync.
It's beautiful, it's mine. What else can I do? Bring it in, bring it in. Amid, don't let them see. You always have to be letting go, let it go. But you can bet that when we're through, Mr. I'll make a man out of you.
Spin our wheel. It's free. You win a prize.
Here we get big money.
Money?
No, it's candy.
Go ahead and take yourself a handful.
We're gonna go.
You have got a sonic screwdriver, which means you win a rubber pencil.
Nice. Woo-woo. Suddenly feel tall with all of the doctors.
Be careful, they like to steal.
I know, I gotta keep my back guarded so they don't take off with anything.
Exactly.
Nice jacket here. Off to see John Rhys Davies.
The one and only John Rhys Davies, everybody. Big round of applause. There he is.
Well, it's wonderful and yet sad to see so many homeless people here with nothing better to do with their Sunday afternoon than come and listen to an old ham. Locke is the man who gives you the origins of that great thing in your Constitution. Jefferson is actually quoting John Locke, who was talking about life, liberty, and property as being the inalienable rights. But Jefferson did not want to put property in there because he did not want to build the notion that slavery was acceptable. So he comes up with this mellifluous thing, the pursuit of happiness. It's wonderful, but it's wholly misleading. If you pursue happiness, I guarantee you will not find it. Aristotle says that happiness is the byproduct of virtuous activity. In other words, you work hard at something, you're doing something, what you're doing is good. And you go home that night and you think, God, I'm happy. That's what a great day that has been. The dumbest thing you can do is choose to be an actor. Why? Because there is no structure. You can join a good company and work your way up through the ranks. But with an actor, there's no reason why the phone should ever go again. The trick will be, of course, is to assume that this is the last job. I'm going to do it as well as I can. I'm not going to be a prima donna. I'm going to serve my fellow actors. I'm going to serve the script. I'm going to honor the writers. I'm going to make the director look wonderful. Now, if you keep doing that, there's just a chance that the phone may continue to ring. No man is famous in his own house, let me tell you. They're just a walking embarrassment.
Heading in to see Andy Serkis.
Give a huge Lone Star State welcome to Mr. Andy Serkis! Hey. When did you know you wanted to become an actor?
I mean, to be fair, I didn't grow up wanting to become an actor. I was a painter, is what I wanted to be. From the age of 7, I picked up some oil paints. I was given some oil paints and I started painting them. And that was what really drove me throughout all my early and formative years. But there was a good theatre studies department, so I started making props and designing posters for the shows. I gradually got involved in performing, and I realised that, in fact, it was acting. That I played one particular role, which was an epiphany. It was like the fact of walking in someone else's shoes and mind and embodying that character. I hadn't experienced anything so powerful, and it just made me want to. It made me want to act. And then I called my parents, and they were horrified that I was going to be an artist in the first place. So when I called them up to say I was going to be an actor, it was just like. So learning how to use your body to create, not just to create physicality, but to create, reflect the psychological aspects of the character and the vocal was very much a part of when eventually, years and years later, I mean, I did loads of theatre before I started getting into film and television, and then of course the film, of course we can't name because we're not allowed to name.
Don't worry, we all know it.
There was a particular film, a series of films, and I played a particular character which demanded the immersion.
What's your specific advice to people who want to become mocap or movement actors?
I really don't believe there is any special skill to be had in it. It's just fully immersing in a character. One of my I had lots of hobbies as a kid, but one of the things that really has driven my life in a major way is climbing. I'm a mountaineer, and I've climbed kind of all over the world in various different places, and I adore being in the mountains. I'm not necessarily a religious person, I'm a spiritual person, and that is where I find a great deal of spirituality in the mountains. One of the worst jobs I ever had was working in a deodorant factory, which you did by hand, putting the ball bearings into the top of the roll-on deodorants, which is the most.
That's a job.
It was, yeah. It was just like, for hours and hours and hours, just pushing. So it really hurt the palm of your hands after a while.
Depending on your age. You didn't know this, but you could have put on deodorant that was assembled by Andy Serkis.
Look, I have to say, I've really enjoyed the process of meeting, people at conventions. It's an incredible thing, and I feel incredibly privileged to have the access to meeting you guys, because to have feedback and response to all the things this is all for you. All the stuff that we or I have been involved in over the last 2 decades is for you.
That is it for the final day. It was an incredible, very fun weekend, and also very exhausting. So that's it. But we had a great time, and now I'm going to take a nap on the car ride home.